Hello everybody, I am Squallcasting and I've got another game of StarCraft 2 for you. In this particular match we do have Espada as the blue Protoss, and up here we have Shofixti, I believe. I think that's how you'd say it. Now, this game was submitted to me by Espada, so thank you for sending it to me. I do believe he is a diamond level player, so could see some interestingness out of this game. It is of course a PvT, so we'll see what happens. The more common metagame at the moment in PvT is um, the Terran will usually go for a Bio Bell supplemented by Medivacs, and then will either add on Vikings if the Protoss is going for Colossi, or he will add on Ghosts if the Protoss is going for High Templar. And then most Protoss tend to go for one of those two builds, because it just gives them the AoE power to deal with the very potent Terran Bio Ball. We'll see what happens with this game. I can't say that name. You are now Red Terran. Red Terran. Could see some sort of variant on the 1-Rax Gasless Expand. So it seems pretty common against Protoss. You just get your barracks, you start pumping up Marines, you throw down a single bunker here to keep you safe, and then you put down your command center. We'll see if he opts to do that though. Has not yet taken any gases, has not yet started building his barracks either. That's very odd. Usually you would start building the barracks straight after. I feel like he must be trying to... Oh, he's going command center first. That's why. Okay, well that's interesting. Don't see it too terribly often, as that is definitely much more risky than the 1-Rax gas expand. And he's taking his command center in a hidden base. Okay, that's very interesting. Now, did he scout down see his opponent? No, he didn't. Well, it was definitely a bit of a gamble by him, pulling all his probes to, all his SCVs to try to kill the probe. That was a bit weird. And Espada has to be wondering about some sort of proxy at this point, because he has not seen a barracks, and he has not seen a command center plop down or anything. So yeah, I think he might be scouting around a bit. Yep, he's looking for them proxy barracks. He wants to be sure there's no shenanigans going on. So a bit of mind games out of the Red Terran. We'll see how Espada responds to it. Now this name is like the opposite of a really ordinary name. If you've seen my other game, what there's the Protoss named Chris, and I enjoyed that so much. This is the opposite. This is a name I can't figure out how to pronounce consistently without my tongue tying itself in knots. So yeah, just figured I'd throw that out there. Now his command center is finishing on up. Gonna start mining, gonna start producing them SCVs pretty soon. Throwing down his first barracks in the back. Now, did Espada see that? No, he didn't. Looks like he's still checking around with his probes, because he really doesn't want to be proxy rack. So, definitely some cool mind games out of Red Terran. Actually played by him, making Espada lose just a little bit of mining time and making him just kind of worry a little bit and have to check around, use up APM on those tasks rather than 100% on his economy. So we will see if Espada does scout this hidden base at some point. If he does, he would probably be able to, if it was early game, he'll be able to kill it with relative ease, just thanks to warpins and, Red Terran's army being probably like here. We'll see if he picks up at that some point. He does look like he wants to push forward and do a bit of damage. And this could be a bit rough for the Red Terran because his barracks was so delayed because he went command center first. And he might have even delayed the barracks so that he could put it down after the probe had left the base. So here come the Stalkers, and there really isn't anything to defend this. There's a bunker going up, but kills the SCV on it. But he does have a single Marauder out, and Marauders are really good against Stalkers. There's a Zealot in the mix, though, going to pick off another SCV that was building that. And this is going into a command center. Not a command center. A planetary fortress. That's the word I was looking for. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. Is this one going to be a PF2? This is starting to remind me of a game I saw in the IPL. I can't remember who it was that was playing, but if this is what I think it is, that'd be pretty cool. Okay, so the game I'm thinking of, I can't remember who was playing. The opponent was Protoss, I believe. It might have Binaniwa, I want to say, but I can't quite recall. But what his opponent was doing was he was Terran, and every single base would become a planetary. And then basically his mineral income would be really low, but his gas income would be relatively high. And then he would be Sky Terran, because Sky Terran requires an obnoxious amount of gas. And most builds don't work with that because you have all the orbitals for all the mules. But like this, your base is really well defended. He's putting all his production structures behind his planetary to keep them safe. And then you just have so much gas income, like it's so much greater than your mineral income would usually be, that you can just put out tons and tons of Banshees, which deal really ridiculous damage, and Vikings, and then you scan to use the Vikings to kill observers, and yeah, so that's what this is kind of looking like. And he's just scattering bases around the map. Espada still has no idea what's going on. Just now starting to take his natural, just as his opponent finishes up his third, and about to finish up his fourth. And just now going to throw down his starport. So Espada continuing to warp in units. And it looks like he still wants to pressure this, but with a PF there, like, what's he really going to be able to do? You're going to be able to do exactly nothing. I would love to see him get this high-sec auto-tracking so his PF has more range. That would be really cool, because then it actually outranges stalkers. Looks like he's going to try to swing around the backside. I don't know if the PF would reach this far. There's an argument for getting high-sec auto-tracking. Yeah, so he's going to start chipping away at that NG base. That'll be rather annoying. He's got a single Marauder out to help defend. Might have to pop those Marauders out to help a bit. And Espada is getting a Dark Shrine. So, interesting response. Could be he's just not quite sure how to deal with this. Has he scouted these other bases? Okay, he scouted that one. And it's going into a PF now. It is not yet turreted. Now, if Red is smart, he will throw down a turret at each base, just to be safe. We'll see if he does that, though. If he doesn't, Dark Templar could get in there and kill, well, all the probes and the planetary. All the SCVs in the planetary, because probes do not mind for the Terran. They are loyal mechanical subjects of the Protoss Imperium. The Protoss Empire? I don't know. Anyway, so Dark Shrine finishing up now. Has he seen it? No, he hasn't, because he doesn't have scans. How's he going to be able to see that? Everything's a planetary. That's really cool. And since he doesn't have scans available, unless he gets a Raven out, he will have no mobile means of detecting those Dark Templar. And Zealot's coming in, doing a bit of damage, but that's a planetary. It's going to blow up everything. His Dark Shrine did finish up, so he should be able to warp in Dark Templar there as soon as he so desires. And yeah, so we got that Banshee production coming now. He is getting Cloak, and sending his first Banshee out just to do a bit of harass. And Espada doesn't really have anything at all to deal with this. He does have 3 gateways though, so he will be able to warp in some stalkers, although it looks like he just used up some of his warp cycles warping in something somewhere. Okay, well yeah, he's just having to run his probes. This Banshee already has 5 kills, it's already a corporal. And Espada definitely needs to respond to this sooner. He's going to be in a world of trouble. Up to 8 kills, 9 kills, about to hit 10 kills. Wow. That Banshee had paid for itself several times over already. Robo facility finishing up now. Going to chrono boost out the observer. And yes, this is post-patch, though. 30-second observer. So that's going to finish before, well, anything can really stop it. Banshee needs to scoot away a little bit. Cloak finishing it up just now will probably enable that, but the observer is out now. So he can bring that down to start seeing what's up as soon as he so chooses. And yep, so we do have missile turrets up at this PF now. These ones have not been morphed into PFs. So it could be this build that he's using is designed around once my build, once an expansion is scouted, then I make it into a planetary. And until then, I hold on to the gas. And Espada looks like he's just falling back on his base. He realizes there isn't really anything he can do to break it. He's going to run away, and he still needs to deal with these Banshees. That Banshee now has 4 kills. Looks like the other Banshee was cleaned up. Let's take a look at how many workers have been killed. 17 probes have been killed. That's absolutely horrible for Espada. Well, we'll see how he bounces back from this. If he can scout these bases before they turn into planetaries and get missile turrets, he could kill them with Dark Templar. Because, you just bring in 2-3 Dark Templar, kill all the SCVs, kill them before they can throw down turrets, and then just kill the planetary. We'll see what he chooses to do, though. These pylons have just been left alone. Red Terran doesn't even care. He's not going to bother killing them off. Sending more Banshees out. Now, what I would love for him to do is get an armory and start getting attack upgrades for those Banshees. Because that really makes Banshees terrifying. They deal so much damage with the attack upgrades. We'll see if he chooses to do that. And he does have his starports kind of scattered around. Could be that way, if a big drop comes in and kills the starport, it's not that he loses all his starports, so we'll see. Or it could just be he wants to be able to produce them out here so that way he can flank in from a different angle with his Banshees. We will see. A single turret going down. Could be he wants to be able to pick off observers with that, if an observer moves out and doesn't react in time. And Espada is getting a Stargate out. Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, getting Phoenixes. That's definitely a good move against Banshees, because Banshees are light. They are not armored. And Phoenixes deal bonus damage to light units. So not very often do you see Phoenixes versus Banshees. So this could be pretty cool. Red Terran continuing to push forward, starting to chip away at that pylon, do more harassing. Espada looks like he wants to expand. So once this base goes down, he will only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, he will only be 2 bases behind his opponent, because Red Terran has expanded everywhere. This base finished up now. We'll start populating it pretty soon. Stalker's moving forward, having to run probes yet again. Such an awkward and difficult position. And we have Seeker Missile coming down. Oh yeah, we're going to see some Ravens. If you saw my Confracto versus some other guy game, you saw some very fun Raven usage. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it on out. And Red Terran expanding to a ridiculously ballsy location. Just like, what do you mean this is your natural 4th? I'm gonna take it. This is gonna be my 6th. Yeah, his 6th base. I have to recount that every few seconds because I can't believe how many bases he has at the 17-minute mark. And Espada really struggling with how to deal with this. Banshee's continuing to push on in, killing probes. But that said, the supplies are actually relatively even. And Red is just kind of having trouble actually using up all his resources. Would love for him to throw down a couple more starports to produce out units. But for now, he's content to just deal damage. Just Phoenix going to scoot on forward. Should be able to take out that Banshee. Is there a turret? Okay, there's a turret here the Banshee is retreating to, and then there's an SCV to repair the Banshee. But the Banshee does die before it gets to safety. But he's just going to decloak and move on home to get repaired, I suppose. And taking his 7th base now. Okay, his 6th was killed by Zealots, so this is his 6th. Pretty sure I'm going to be saying 8th and 9th and 10th bases. 10 base Terran versus 3 base Protoss. Wonder how that'll turn out. But the real weakness in Red's build so far is that he has not managed to... Well, he's not using his resources effectively. He has so many surplus minerals. I would love for him to throw down just a handful of barracks with reactors, just so he can kind of dump some of those minerals into Marine so he actually has a ground force, and then get a lot more starports out. Really needs to start getting more refineries and saturate them, because he needs that gas income. If he wants to do this sort of playstyle, he needs lots and lots of gas. And just now starting to build Ravens, 3 command centers in production, because why not? Might break down those rocks someday. Just taking the entire right-hand side of the map. And yeah, so the one thing, Red is no doubt in a very commanding position right now, not in terms of army size or his ability to immediately kill his opponent, but just because Espada can't really deal significant damage to him because of these PFs, and because he needs to sit back at home and defend, because there's Banshees everywhere. But the real weakness in Red's build so far is that he's just not utilizing all his resources properly. And if you can figure out how to get more starports up and then be able to use all those resources, this could be pretty terrifying. This, I think, is his 9th. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th. But it does get cancelled, so he's only at 8 bases. Or 8 bases soon once these command centers finish up. That one's finishing up right now. This one's nearly done as well. But yeah, he's really struggling as far as keeping SCV construction going on at all of his bases. This base has been up forever, and he's just now starting to build out SCVs, and he doesn't have them rallied. So, while he does have an absolutely terrifying number of bases, he doesn't have the ability to mine effectively at all of them, because he's just kind of struggling at getting SCVs out. Now, Espada does catch wind of this planetary. These Zealots are going to charge in like the brave soldiers they are, but they're not really going to accomplish anything at all. And looks like we have a Banshee Raven push in here. Banshee's just going to focus down that cannon because they can. Throwing down some auto turrets. Very fun. More Banshees and Ravens coming on out. And, okay, Espada's starting to get some Archons. That could work well against the Banshees. Archons do deal a lot of damage, and they do deal splash. Now, these auto turrets are protecting for these Phoenixes. And Phoenixes can't pick up auto turrets. So, yeah, like, what are you going to do about that? You're going to sit overhead? Okay. So these Archons will be able to clean up those auto turrets pretty easily, or he's just going to leave them. Okay, that's unique. Guess he just wants to deal damage right now. Taking out that missile turret. Missile turret almost gets a Phoenix before going down. How much health does that have? That Phoenix has 7 health. Phoenix dies. Espada definitely not controlling this very well. Really needs to start pulling his Phoenixes back because he's losing them for no reason. Also losing Archons to Banshee focus fire. Starting to get ground armor. And yeah, so I really feel like this is a strategy that Red decided he wanted to try, but has never really done before. So he's really struggling with the mechanical side of it, in that he's not populating with SCVs very well. He's got SCVs just sitting there. He doesn't have the gas income. But Espada, on the other hand, he's never dealt like this either. Point defense drones going down, deflecting so much Phoenix fire. The Phoenixes shoot really fast, so they use it up rather quickly, and they're going to be able to kill all these Ravens. So that's a very nice win by Espada. Ravens, very expensive. Not accomplishing very much with that. Leaving a single auto turret up is going to rat-tat-tat away, and it might actually eventually kill that Robo Bay, because auto turrets kind of last forever. So he's going to move in, finish that off. More Banshees coming down here. Going to focus fire this Nexus down. It's definitely going to die before Espada is able to respond. So, while Red is really struggling with the mechanical side of this build, Espada is really struggling with the how do I actually deal with this many Banshees coming from this many angles effectively, you know. And since he has to worry about these Banshees and he can't really get an attack effectively, Red is free to expand everywhere and get a 7k bank in a diamond level game. How crazy is that? But Espada, retaking his third like the trooper he is, has a decent number of Archons now. That's quite a few, and they do have +1 upgrades. So this will be fairly effective against Banshees, because Banshees tend to clump up. Wow, I'm speaking so nasally today. I am a little bit stuffed up, so if you're occasionally hearing a little snuffle, yeah, that's because of that. But anyway, as I was saying, Banshees do tend to clump up when they attack, and Archons do deal AoE damage. Looks like he wants to push in here. I don't know if that's enough to go toe-to-toe with the planetary. Those Banshees are taking quite a lot of damage, and he can't get observers in there because there's a missile turret ring. So that's a pretty cool defensive position. And once the Banshees cloak, nothing can shoot up to hit them, and then the missile turret ring can pick off any observers that try to come in. Huh. That's really cool. I feel like airplay from the Protoss might be the best way to deal with that. Maybe get a handful of carriers out, and then all the interceptors swarm, they occupy all the missile turrets, and you can get a handful, like 2 or 3 observers in, and then use Phoenixes to quickly kill off the Banshees, then run away. That might be the best way to deal with this. This is such an unexplored strategy, and one that I would love to see fleshed out more, because this is really cool. Red does now have his 9th base up, which I'm pretty sure Espada knows about, nope, he doesn't. Pylons do not see far enough because they are buildings, they don't have eyes. They can't put binoculars to their faces and go, what's over there? That would actually be a fun ability if Marines had binoculars, and that way they could see farther. You could have Marines with your tanks, and then the Marines are spotting for the tanks with binoculars. I mean, it would probably be totally imba, especially against Zerg. But that could be interesting. Anyway, so Red just continuing to have bases everywhere. This planetary is very slowly killing those destructible rocks, which is hilarious to watch. But it is killing them actually relatively quickly, because it does deal 40 damage a shot, which is awesome. And once those rocks are dead, he will be able to build another command center and maybe actually build an orbital command. Unless he just wants 2 planetary to really defend. And he has so many missile turrets. And again, please just... Red Terran, if you're watching this, next time get high-sec auto-tracking. Missile turrets benefit from it. Auto turrets benefit from it. Planetary fortresses benefit from it. What else benefits from it? Auto turrets, missile turrets, PFs, and point defense drones. Your point defense drones will shoot intercept missiles from further away. That will benefit a large portion of what you're actually using here. So, if Red Terran happens to watch this, if Shofixti happens to watch this, please do that next time. And yeah, Espada going, you know what, I need a fleet beacon. Now, it could be he wants to get a mothership, and then potentially vortex in all the Banshees, and then be able to kill off the missile turrets. Or it could be that he does indeed want to get carriers. Carriers and motherships plus Archons, that'd be kind of awesome. Oh, maybe he's going to Archon toilet it up. That would be cool. Throw down a vortex, catch some Banshees, you know, put 2 observers in, or just an observer. Throw all the Archons in, everything comes out and everything dies instantly. Got some more auto turret harass going down here. Do those auto turrets have durable materials? They do not. But those Banshees going, or those Ravens are going to get cleaned on up. And the auto turrets also going to get eliminated. So killed a couple of probes with that, but definitely not worth the number of Ravens lost. And just continuing to build missile turrets. Looks like he wants to missile turret push his way to his opponent's base. That's kind of awesome. And we got more Ravens, more Banshees going to move down. And the thing is, the Ravens can throw down the point defense drone, and it will actually protect from those photon cannons. Or he'll just kill the photon cannons before they become an issue. I'm going to throw down some auto turrets, they will shoot on up. He needs to throw down some Seeker missiles. Okay, he doesn't have the energy. A single Seeker missile hit in the middle of all those Phoenixes would very nearly kill them instantly. So I would love for him to use those Seeker missiles as well. I'm quite certain he did research it. And Espada, once again, having to run over here just to kill some auto turrets. It's such a pain. I'm going to have to rebuild probes. So he is now on less than half the bases of his opponent. But once again, Red really struggling with the mechanical side of this. Doesn't have, 3 SCVs in every refinery. Still only has 1 SCV in that refinery, 1 in this one. And if he was able to clear that up, he would have so much more gas. Throw down just like 10 starports with tech labs, and he'd be able to produce so many Banshees. But still doing quite well for himself. Going to be able to finish off that Nexus. We have a single carrier coming on out. This one is supply block, so it's not going to come out. Phoenixes come in, get a single volley off before the Banshees move out of the detection radius of that photon cannon. And Espada probably going to be able to pick off some of these outlying missile turrets. This single carrier has not yet started building any interceptors. Sends out a single interceptor to attack and then falls on back. And yep, he's going to start attacking that. But there's so many missile turrets, they can actually just shoot the interceptors down before they can return to be effectively repaired. Only one managing to get away. So he needs to get a few more carriers and really build up the interceptor count before he goes in with that. Because you need a swarm of interceptors. So that way the missile turrets aren't as likely to be able to shoot them down. So just such a goofy game from both of these players. And, this isn't like Bronze League shenanigans. This isn't the Diamond League. So, this guy's pretty decent. This guy's pretty decent too. But I would love to see a pro player, that has the mechanics to pull this off, try this, where they have enough SCVs in each geyser, and they have each base reasonably saturated. Finally, just now getting enough SCVs there, so I would love to see a very high-level player try this out. He does have a battlecruiser. He has 2 battlecruisers, so looks like he wants to transition to them cattle bruisers. And he is maxed. How many SCVs did you have? 116 SCVs. No, this is not a Zerg player. This is a Terran player. So, all those comments I was making earlier about the mechanical side of things, clearly he is remembering to build SCVs. Throwing down some Seeker missiles doesn't actually kill anything, though. But while he is struggling with the mechanical side of this game, he is remembering to build lots and lots of SCVs. But that could end up being his Achilles heel, because his actual army is pretty darn small. He has 14 Banshees, 6 Vikings, 2 battlecruisers, and 6 Ravens. And that's it. So, And once again, he doesn't have any air upgrades. I would love for him to throw down 2 armories and start getting those air upgrades. That would make this force so much more potent. And Espada going to push forward with some carriers now. He does have 36 interceptors now. Yamato cannon going down, hitting that carrier, dealing a lot of damage. Vikings working on the carriers as well. That carrier might die. There it goes. But Espada might... He finally kills his first legitimate expansion of the game. Every single other one before that point was a cancel. So well done, Espada. At the 35-minute mark, you have succeeded in killing a mining base. Oh, this is hilarious. And Espada is now on 4 bases, and he's macroing just so much better than his opponent that, yeah, this might be Red's Achilles heel. He has a lot of nicely defended bases, but now that Espada has kind of this critical mass of units, he can just walk over these planetary fortresses. You know, all these scattered planetary fortresses would work very well in the early to mid game when army sizes are small, but now that we're in the late game and Espada has managed to macro up a good force, you know, Red won't be able to hold on to his bases. He does have to clean up this attack though. This base is definitely going to die. There's quite a few auto turrets there, as well as some PDDs. Do they actually protect against photon cannon shots? I couldn't find out in time. Whatever. So yeah, Espada responding to this nicely, getting those carriers. I would love to see him just mix in a mothership just for the heck of it, because it only costs a little bit more than a carrier, 400 versus 350 250. Okay, so a fair bit more gas, but you know, even for the mass recall, actually, yeah, get a mothership, plant it here, the most vulnerable base, and then be able to mass recall your army if it comes under attack. And I'm actually going to tell another StarCraft story since this is going rather slow, but one thing I loved doing was, again, getting mass carriers, but then also getting lots of arbiters. And then I would have an arbiter at each base, and I'd have something like 5 or 6 bases. And then I'd be able to send my carriers into attack, and if it looked like a very bad attack that was going to fail, I'd just mass recall to pull all the carriers out. And then, if I needed to, I could just move my army around instantly with all the arbiters. And it was quite awesome, so... There's my very short story. Espada going to push up into the main, which is 100% mined out and doesn't even have that much infrastructure. And yeah, it looks like he's going to be able to crush through everything. These missile turrets doing a lot of work. How many interceptors are there left? Only 27. So they've killed quite a few. But everything of Red's is starting to die. This carrier doesn't have any interceptors, so it charges forward and it dies to missile turret fire. Very embarrassing and unfortunate. And Espada happy to kill the planetary and run away for now. Might just wait a bit, let some interceptors rebuild. Yep, that one's rebuilding them. Okay, these ones have not been yet set to auto-build, so we should look at doing that. And yes, he does have a mothership out now, and he is getting those air attacks, so he should try what Red's doing, because he's got the right idea. If you're going mass air, get air attacks. And each level of air attack does increase the carrier's damage, a full carrier, by 16. So if you have 3 attack upgrades, it's like 40 something. I can't even math that. Anyway, Espada are going to lose this base as well. There are some battle cruisers there and some banshees. But yeah, Red really struggling at this point to have an effective and large army. Just has such a big bank and just isn't mining enough gas. Really needs to work on that part of things. He really doesn't need this many minerals, and really at some... That's a hilarious spot for a fusion core. But, you know, when the next time he does this, he should, you know, spend these quiet moments in the game checking each base, making sure they have 3 SCVs in each geyser, setting them up that way, and then he can look away. They doesn't need to worry about it anymore. He doesn't need minerals all that much. Espada suiciding in a bunch of zealots just to take out missile turrets, so that way his carrier force is going to be safer when it attacks in next. The most ultimate long-distance mining trip of all time in existence. Look at that probe train. But that said, Espada is starting to mine out. And so if he's not able to effectively re-secure expansions, he could be in some trouble. Now, he is retaking this one here. Where's his mothership? Where is that mothership? Okay, out in the middle of the map, completely exposed. Standard. And Red does have a handful of Vikings, but it's not going to be enough to deal with that many carriers. And I feel like this base here is not long for this world. He does have actually quite a few missile turrets, so interceptors will die rather quickly. But that's still a lot of stuff. We'll see what happens though. So both players just going for very air-oriented plays at the 40-minute mark. This is definitely one of the longer games I've casted. Not as long as the White Raw versus I think it was Maru. Pretty sure it was. Yes, Maru, the nuclear kitty. And Espada just poking in to take out auto turrets. Gonna poke up again to try to clear off this attack here. Does look like he has two observers mixed into that army, so that way he can see the Banshees, and he has enough air now that those observers should be relatively safe from being sniped by missile turrets or Viking. Bunch of Yamato cannon shots going down, not quite gonna kill the Nexus, just dealing some damage. Battle cruisers need to fall back, and looks like he does have the auto repair set up. Yep. So those battle cruisers are going to be repaired very, very quickly. Love seeing that kind of thing. And Espada re-securing his fourth and just kind of defending it because he knows he needs it. And yeah, Red just kind of struggling to figure out how to deal with this Carrier, Phoenix, Stalker, Void Ray, Archon force. Only one Archon left actually, but just continuing to throw down missile turrets, trying to rebuild some supply depots so he's no longer stuck. Building a factory, I'm not sure why. Maybe wants to start mixing in tanks. Tank, Banshee, Raven, totally standard. And Espada just kind of posturing around here, not really sure what he wants to do. Like, it looks like he wants to attack this base and kill it, but there's just so many missile turrets. But he's going for it, sending out the carriers. Starting to pick off missile turrets, losing quite a few interceptors in the process. Oh, the interceptor manatee. That was awkward. And yeah, just continuing to poke. Doesn't seem to want to commit in because that's a really terrifying number of missile turrets. And yeah, so definitely a bit of a stalemate here, except that Red has a bank of almost 300,000. Wait, 30,000? 30,000, yeah, not 300,000. A bank of 300,000 would be, that would be like you're back on big game hunters, and you have 8 bases mining fully saturated. Yeah, that's the only way you'd get 300,000. So, about to hit that 30,000 mark. So, he's not going to run out of minerals anytime soon. But maybe you should look at starting to suicide some SCVs. Like, use all that excess minerals, throw down like a bunch of orbital commands here, where it's safe, and then suicide in 50 SCVs so you can build a larger air force. Those Ravens looked like they wanted to do some secret missile action, but instead they just died. And Espada just still trying to poke in here, deal damage. Looks like he wants to kill off that starport. We got a Yamato cannon going down, blast that carrier, deals a lot of damage. And sadly, Protoss do not have SCVs with which to repair carriers. And those carriers doing a bit of awkward positioning. Is that carrier going to die? Yes, it does. Yamato cannon snipes it off. So, Red definitely starting to kind of figure out how to deal with this very carrier-oriented force, as Yamato cannons are just really, really good against carriers. Really, really good against everything, actually. But, you know, good to use against carriers because they're a very expensive unit. And once again, killing more missile turrets, but, you know, Red can do this all day long. He can rebuild missile turrets until Kingdom Come. He doesn't care. Because he has 30,000 in the bank. Just throwing down those missile turrets again instantly. Oh, what do we have in the build queue? We're starting to see shields upgrades and Protoss air armor, so that's a good idea. Get them shield upgrades, because carriers do have a decent amount of shields. Motherships have a lot of shields. And, you know, Red doesn't have any ghosts for EMPs. And yeah, we got some tanks moving forward. The missile turret push to defend the tanks. That's pretty hilarious. Espada looks like he wants to go for it, pushing on forward. Void Rays chew through the missile turret so fast, but falls on back. Doesn't want to commit in fully. And this mothership just not accomplishing it much, because Red has so much detection that he could sell detection on the open market to pro players in other games. That's how much detection he has. It would spill over into other games. So Battle Cruisers pushing on forward a little bit and dancing on back. missile turrets, murdering interceptors. It's not a good day to be an interceptor. Looks like Espada might want to try a vortex, but instead just takes a concentrated nuclear plasma blast to the face. The amount of cannon used to be a nuclear blast. Now it just says plasma cannon. But in the original StarCraft 2, the description was that it was, like a focused nuclear blast. So, Espada, though, kind of going for it, killing more missile turrets, but once again, kind of backing off because he doesn't quite know what to do. Should really look at moving some probes over there. Where are all his probes? Okay, this base is so saturated. Should really look at moving some probes over there. Gonna warp a zealot up just to start dealing with these missile turrets. That's definitely a good move from him. Looks like the tanks are falling back for the time being. And battle cruiser tank. Totally standard. Oh man, this game is ridiculous. So Espada continuing to produce out more and more carriers. That seems like really his best option. Looks like he wants to push in here now. Might be able to kill this base, which is... This mineral patch hasn't been mined at all. This base is a virgin base, basically, even though it's been down there for like half a frickin' hour. Espada, though, going for it. Pushing on forward, sniping off stuff. Does he want to commit fully? Looks like he might want to. Nope. Pulling on back. Let's take a look here. Red has an SCV that's idle there still. I think that's been idle for most of the game. That is the laziest SCV in existence. And Espada does have 3 attack upgrades now, so those carriers are doing work. But it's hard to really do a lot of work when there's 50 billion missile turrets all ready to shoot down interceptors instantly. Espada, though, taking a page out of Red's book and expanding up here right next to Red's original main, which is now just a desiccated corpse. Red does still have this base, but this has not been mined at all. Yep, completely untouched, a virgin base. We still have the air battles going on. This base does finally fall, but that really doesn't cripple Red at all because he wasn't mining from there anyways. That base was a decoy to make Espada waste time. Oh, excuse me. I might, I'm going to reduce the volume of that clearing of throat. I'm actually rather congested, and all this talking isn't helping. You can probably actually hear the massive congestion in my voice. Secret missile goes down. The Phoenix. Oh, that hurts so much. And Espada cleaning up all the auto turrets. And I'm starting to get lightheaded because I can't handle this game anymore. Oh man, this is crazy. Let's take an accounting. Does Red have any other starports? Yes, he does have 2 up here, which look like they haven't really been used at all. He has a bunch of government worker SCVs hanging out there doing nothing. So most of the attention is over here right now. These Banshees... Well, that Banshee has a lot of kills. That's been around for a while. And just now, +1 armor. Finally doing what I recommended about 40 minutes ago. Just now turning this into a planetary, and looks like he's going to start mining from his natural soon. Yeah, got a bunch of zealots running up here. Okay, they'll be able to pick off those starports, which have built exactly 1 Viking, and they're going to run away. Okay. Moving some stalkers up. And it's kind of hard to know how to deal with this. I mean, maybe Espada could get some Colossi with range. Like, branch into every technology possible. Some Ravens dying for free. But, get some Colossi with range. And then those can kill the missile turrets and the planetaries without being counterattacked. And Red clearly has most of his forces down here, so there wouldn't really be much of anything to threaten those Colossi, aside from a Viking or 2. Yeah, there's like 1 Viking here. So, and then just have a couple stalkers with it, pull the Colossi back, bait the Viking out and kill it. So, well, we'll see. For now, most of the action focused down here. Some Vikings coming out trying to deal with the carriers. Those interceptors get a single wave off before being obliterated. Phoenix is pushing on forward. We got a pretty big engagement here. So many interceptors, I can't even see the map properly. So much blue. Look at that mini-map go. But Espada does decide to pull on back, lost pretty much all of his Phoenixes, but retained his carrier count, so that is always good. How many upgrades does he have now? 2 armor, 1 shield. Is getting the next level of shields and 3 armor. And this mothership really hasn't engaged in battle at all. It has 0 kills. And did you know the mothership shoots 6 times with every attack? So they actually do pretty decent DPS. You know, the main reason you don't really see them engaging in heavily is just because they're such a big investment. So players prefer to kind of hold them back and use them for their spells mainly, but they do actually do a fair bit of damage. Excuse me again, oh my goodness. I'm going to need to remember to reduce the volumes on all those throat clearings so I'm not deafening you all. And okay, so Espada pushing up here now, but there are a whole bunch of Phoenixes that can very easily kill everything. So Red will hold on to this base, which is sort of half mined. Yeah. This base mined out, finally. This base got killed as well. But Red still has the largest bank in human history. Or perhaps I should say Terran history. If we're going to go with some sort of argument of, you know, humans aren't Terrans and Terrans aren't humans. It's in a different universe, man. Although if I recall, the original story from StarCraft 1 was that the Terrans were criminals, exiled from Earth, and they were put on these giant ships and then just sent out. And then they eventually arrived where they are now and reestablished civilization and eventually became this Terran Dominion. And, wait, wasn't that part of the storyline in Brood War? That, the Earth Dominion, like the EDU, Earth Defense United, Earth Dominion United, I don't know, but, like, there was this, like, a force of, Earth, like an Earth fleet that came to attack the Terran Confederation. I'm pretty sure that was part of the story in Brood War. It's been such a long time since I played that game. But I feel like that was indeed part of the story, so... Yeah, so apparently this is set in the same universe except in the future. So, if you're watching this about, I'll say, 300 years in the future, don't be a criminal because you will be put on a colony ship, sent off to a distant galaxy, and then murdered by Zerg and Protoss. And also nukes. So, don't be a criminal 200 years in the future. Anyways, Espada finally starting to crush on through some of these bases, managing to whittle Red down. He only has 5 Banshees, a Viking, a Battlecruiser, and a Raven left, whereas Espada has 9 carriers out and 7 Void Rays, and fully upgraded Void Rays are pretty darn terrifying. And I realize I say that about almost every unit that's fully upgraded, but it's true. Like, every unit with full upgrades is very powerful. There are some that don't scale as well, like Stalkers don't scale as well with upgrades. But yeah, fully upgraded units are so good. Whereas, you know, Red just hasn't really kept up with the upgrades. Actually, I want to find a unit he had. Okay, still just has 1 armor. This base has been undetected, and Espada just continuing to crush through all the missile turrets and kill the bases as we hit the 1 freaking hour mark. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, okay, well, it looks like Red does finally catch a beat on this base. Going to missile turret push his way into the base while the Banshees kill everything. Blue definitely isn't going to be able to respond in time to that, so Espada's just going to run his probes on away. Might move him down here where he's still long distance mining. Could probably expand here and here because there's still tons of resources at those bases. This base, though, surprisingly, mostly mined out, even though it was the planetary that was, like, here. Oh, looks like he might have thrown out another... No, that was the fusion core. That was the fusion core. Yeah, he almost mined out this base by long-distance mining from planetary here. But that said, when you hit the 1 hour mark, you could have a base here and have this fully mined out, and it would seem completely reasonable. So, let's see. Does he have 3 shield upgrades on the way? No, he does not. I would love to see that. I would also love to see him take another base, because he's running rather low on resources, and this base is nearly mined out. And, you know, Red can keep doing this all day. Rebuilding his base with the assimilators there, was considering trying to use them, but SCVs don't like assimilators. They just don't like the layout. But Espada continuing to push on forward. I'm sure this replay file is going to be like a gigabyte because of how long this game is, even though my encoder does a pretty good job of compressing it. Oh man. And yeah, Red definitely looking like he's in a bit of trouble. I would love to see what the match summary will look like at the end of this game, and take a look at the unspent resources tab and see what the number is there. Pretty sure it'll be well over 9,000, because anything that's good in life is over 9,000. And Red supply blocked. Oh no, what will he do? Oh man, and he built missile turrets in the way of being able to put down a command center to mine more efficiently, but he has a bank of 37k. He doesn't care. Why would you need to mine efficiently when you have that much money? The problem is, though, eventually he's going to run out of buildings, and he's really struggling with rebuilding an army. Honestly, he should take all these SCVs, make a gigantic supply depot farm here, build 10 starports, and build nothing but Vikings. And then a few Ravens. And also make orbital command so he can scan and actually see this army. And then he could kill it. He could. He has the resources to pump out he has enough resources to pump out a 200 army right now if he wanted to. The problem is he's not rebuilding production structures. Looks like he's retaking this base, because why not? When you're behind enemy lines, they will never suspect you building a base back there. Espada is expanding here. Looks like there's an SCV that wants to expand here, but there's already a probe there. And if they get caught in combat, that probe will win because he has superior upgrades. Let's take a look at the kill counts on these units. Carrier has 19, 1, 13, 36. That's a veteran carrier. Executor. I'm sure there's one carrier in this mix that has like a trillion missile turret kills, but I can't find it. Espada has definitely lost a lot of carriers. And look at this resources loss count. Espada looking like a Zerg with 642 units lost, but those are actually interceptors. The interceptors do count as units lost, even though you can't micro them individually, because the micro themselves, they swarm around. So, yeah, that's this game. And yeah, Red definitely looking like he's on his last ropes. All he's really doing is building missile turrets. I feel like at this point he's just trolling his opponent, just going, how long can it possibly take you to kill me? I'm not going to bother rebuilding an army. I'm just going to make planetary fortresses and missile turrets. Oh, there we go. A single starport going on up. But it's not going to arrive in time because there are 3-3-2 carriers here. What you going to do against that? You're just going to die. That's what. That planetary evaporates in a cloud of red, also known as an explosion. There's a single Raven here. He's like, don't worry guys, I got 200 energy. I will secret missile this massive air ball and it will die. But that won't actually work out because there's just too much stuff. And yeah, I feel pretty confident saying Red's going to lose this game, but right now he's just trolling. He's just building missile turrets across the center of the map. Like, who even does this? Does he have them like queued up? Jeepers. Espada does have this base secured now. There's a starport hiding there, building Vikings. Oh man. And yes, this is officially the longest game I've ever cast. The White Raw versus I Am Maru was very long as well, but not this long. The map wasn't this big either, and nearly every base was mined out, except Mario managed to get the last mining base that still had resources with a 4 planetary fortress drop. Seriously, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch that game. It wasn't the best ever, but it's kind of funny just for the 4 planetary fortress drop in on the base that IMR really wanted. And Red leaves the game, finally realizing it's a futile effort. He only has 2 starports. What can he possibly do? And Espada, at the 1 hour, 8 minute mark, secures victory. Well played by him. Taking a little bit of time to kind of figure out how to deal with what Red was doing, but eventually just switching over to air himself and crushing on through with the superior upgrades. So thank you guys for watching my game. I hope you enjoyed it. It was so long. Please do like and subscribe. Leave comments in the comment section below, and I will see you later.